What if I told you one man, standing just 5'5", rewired the entire DNA of world football? Not through a system, not through a team, but through sheer individual genius that still has coaches, players, and analysts studying his moves decades later. Diego Maradona was not just a footballer. He was a force of nature that football was completely unprepared for. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the beautiful game was never the same after he stepped onto the pitch. If you are new here, subscribe right now, because we break down football history and greatness in a way you will not find anywhere else. Hit the like button if you are already a Maradona fan, and let us get into it. The boy from Villa Fiorito. Diego Armando Maradona was born on October 30th, 1960, in Lanús, Buenos Aires, Argentina. He grew up in Villa Fiorito, one of the poorest shantytown neighborhoods in the country. There was no privilege, no elite academy, no wealthy family pushing him forward. What there was a football and a boy who seemed physically attached to it. By age 10, he was performing halftime tricks for Argentinos Juniors. By 15, just 10 days before his 16th birthday, he made his professional debut. The footballing world had absolutely no idea what was coming. The rise that shocked Argentina. Maradona's early career at Argentinos Juniors from 1976 to 1981 was a masterclass in dominance. He was not just good for his age. He was better than everyone at any age. His dribbling was unlike anything Argentine football had ever seen. Low center of gravity, rapid acceleration, a left foot so precise it looked like it had its own brain. He moved to Boca Juniors and won the Metropolitano title in 1981, cementing his status as Argentina's biggest star before he had even turned 21. The Barcelona years and what they revealed. In 1982, Maradona moved to FC Barcelona for a then world record fee of approximately $7.6 million. Spain was supposed to be his global coronation. Instead, it became a test of survival. He faced brutal, targeted fouling that would see defenders today banned for months. He suffered severe ankle injury from a reckless tackle by Andoni Goicoechea, known across Europe as the Butcher Bilbao. In 1983, a challenge so violent it nearly ended his career entirely. He battled hepatitis. He clashed with club leadership. And yet, even through all of it, he showed glimpses of football from another planet. The world had seen enough to know this man was different. What it had not yet seen was his peak. The Napoli era and the city transformed. In 1984, Maradona moved to SSC Napoli for another world record fee, this time approximately $10.4 million. Naples was a city dismissed by the rest of Italy, considered poor and chaotic, overlooked and underestimated. Sound familiar? Maradona did not just play for Napoli. He became Napoli. He carried the city's identity on his back and delivered 2 Serie A titles in 1987 and 1990, a UEFA Cup in 1989, and a Coppa Italia in 1987. He made the unfashionable fashionable. He gave an entire region its pride back. To this day, murals of Maradona cover the walls of Naples. When he passed away in November 2020, the city mourned as though it had lost a king, because it had. The 1986 World Cup, and the greatest individual tournament in history. No conversation about Maradona is complete without Mexico 1986. Argentina was good. With Maradona, they were unstoppable. He scored 5 goals, provided 5 assists, directly involved in 10 of Argentina's 14 goals across the tournament. Against England in the quarterfinal, he scored 2 of the most contrasting goals ever seen in the same match. The first, punched in with his hand, which he slyly claimed was scored a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God, was pure, unfiltered audacity. The second, where he dribbled from his own half past 5 English players and the goalkeeper to score, was later voted the goal of the century by FIFA. Argentina lifted the trophy. Maradona was the tournament. No individual has ever dominated a World Cup the way he did in 1986, and in 2026, that still stands as the benchmark. The complicated legacy. Maradona's story is not a clean one. There were battles with cocaine addiction that he spoke about openly. There were suspensions, controversies, chaotic press conferences, and personal struggles that played out publicly throughout his life. But here's what separates the honest conversation about Maradona from the polished myths. His flaws never erase his impact. They were part of it. He was human, deeply, painfully human. And football, which so often produces managed, PR-safe superstars, had never seen anyone so raw and so real. Why he changed football forever. Before Maradona, the idea of one player being an entire tactical problem for an opposing team was not fully realized. After him, every coach had a plan for the possibility of individual genius dismantling any system. He expanded what the sport believed was physically and technically possible. He proved that a small man from a poor background could not just compete at the highest level but define it. Every player today who dribbles with low body position, who operates in tight spaces, who carries a team entirely on his back, owes something to what Maradona demonstrated to the world. Diego Maradona did not just play football. He changed the question of what football could be, and that, more than any trophy or statistic, is why his career remains the most studied, most debated, and most revered in the history of the game. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Drop in the comments who you think is the greatest footballer of all time, and go watch our next video on the 1986 World Cup broken down in full detail. See you there.